Hello and welcome to yet another edition of the Dugout, and it's going to be another deep discussion on Indian cricket. Well, obviously that's going to be the thing probably for the next few days after what has transpired in the recently concluded series versus New Zealand. But before we get to that, what are the most important news for today?
Many?
Like?
News and news only since morning.
Rashford's come back after 2 days.
Yeah.
He didn't want the second day to be off, and I've taken due notice of that. I've made note of that, and
No, I didn't want the second day off after such a historic test
an
match.
off denied is an off sacrificed in the future. So yeah, I've taken note, and the concerned authorities.
But the person who makes the roster, he has not taken note. So that then it's.
It is my job. It is my job to ensure
communicate it to him
that the feelings of the team members are known to the concerned authorities, and it will be the case.
But they are also team members. I'll convey
We
it
do
myself.
require the interference of the necessary stakeholders.
Yes, the necessary stakeholders.
No, I'll convey it if that's the case. But yeah, 2 days. But how's the mood now?
You tell us. We actually missed you here because we all expressed our thoughts, how we felt. Our feelings are well known to our family members, but nobody knows what Shashwat felt because first time in your pursuing cricket and your being a cricket fan that you saw India being swept away. A series defeat was the first, but India being
series defeat I've seen earlier, but yeah, swept away.
So in 2012, you remember?
Yeah, I do.
You were in school at that time.
Yeah, I was in 5th.
Huh?
Yeah.
I think I was also I just passed out, I think, that time.
From
2012.
school.
Yeah. So, anyhow, but yeah, a second series defeat that you've seen, but the first time that you saw a clean sweep. What are your thoughts?
See, I'll be very honest about it. I've seen a lot of people being really, really unhappy, upset, sad, angry about it and all of these things, and I do understand where does this come from as far as test cricket is concerned.
Yeah.
But on the contrary, I just feel that till now we were winning all the series, and there was one thing that we always talked about whenever we lost an ICC event, and that was that there's no point of winning the series. Everyone is happy losing the series all throughout the year. It's ultimately about winning the ICC trophy, and that's exactly what has happened. That's exactly what has happened, and that's why I'm not too disappointed about it. Again, there's no excuses to whatever Rohit Sharma, Virat, and all these as far as form is concerned and all of these things. Those things are required definitely, and we'll be talking about that as we go ahead in the dugout. We have been talking about that, so there's no excuse in that sense. But personally, I'm not that hurt in that sense because very honestly for me
3-0 you weren't hurt.
No, I'm hurt, but it's
okay.
not.
It's okay.
No,
the man sitting on that seat a couple of days back wasn't hurt one bit because he's
to different reasons for that.
exactly. He's truly a Kiwi supporter.
You're talking about the other Siddharth.
Yeah, but for me, it's not like I'm not sad or it's not like I'm not hurt, but it's not like that the world has ended for me. I see the team standing up from here again, doing well again. But yeah, again, like I mentioned, we are definitely going to talk about the lapses in captaincy by Rohit Sharma, the lack of form by Virat Kohli, the lack of understanding the conditions, not reading the conditions properly, and all of these things. But it's just that the magnitude at which people are giving hate to this Indian team, I personally don't understand that.
Okay, Bala, why do you say that you're not really hurt after this loss? I'm not saying that you should be hurt, because if you ask me,
no, I'm hurt not as much as people are sort of coming out with it on various social media platforms.
So my perspective to this is that New Zealand were better on those given days than India. That's why they went on to win the series 3-0. That's why they swept India away. But if you still ask me, New Zealand are a pretty average test team, and losing to a pretty ordinary or an average test team at home, and that too being whitewashed, is very hurtful. It's very disappointing to me. I want to know where you are coming from as far as when you say that you are not hurt.
See, I'll be very honest again. I'm still not over the World Cup victory for me, and I don't even
Victory
the
or
World
the
Cup
loss?
victory,
We're
World
talking
Cup
about the
victory.
This is the
Caribbean
month of the
win,
World Cup loss.
No, I'm talking about the T20
talking about
World
the
Cup,
Caribbean win.
T20 World Cup over that. But again, like I mentioned, I'm hurt. It's not like I'm not hurt. It's not like that. It doesn't matter to me this test series.
No, I
it's
never
just
said that. I just wanted
it's-
to know where you're coming from.
It's
But then
just,
we're also denied
WTC.
A third successive WTC as a result.
That's what I'm trying to say, that we are going to get into that, the reasons and all of those things need to be rectified. And I also feel like a fan, if I feel, and such an avid fan, if I am still feeling the euphoria of the World Cup till now, we are still so many months down the line. I think that is also reflected in the team. In that sense, we talked about this earlier also, that is also reflected in the team. The team also
overconfidence could be coming from that
caught
as
napping, beat the ODI series, that wasn't given too much. And see, again, if you would not have won a World Cup and you would have lost a series in Sri Lanka, an ODI series in Sri Lanka, then there would have been so much talk about that. But that went unnoticed because of the World Cup. Because you just won the World Cup and many players weren't available for that series also, so that also went unnoticed. Here I just feel that now, because I just feel that suddenly everyone was caught napping. I think we as fans also, we as journalists also, we were letting go of many things as far as Indian cricket was concerned, be it in Test cricket or be it in other formats of the cricket. Now suddenly, when you have ended up losing 3 Test matches on the trot, you have been whitewashed. Now I think suddenly everyone is starting to realize that there are many things that were going under the carpet because of the various kinds of victories that you had.
Okay.
All right. But otherwise, was there any sort of because we've been analyzing and we missed your opinions over the last couple of days. Have you been? What's the mood like among, let's say, others that you surround by? You talk to so many present cricketers also, besides former cricketers. But what's the mood like otherwise? How's your generation looking at it?
Everyone is looking at it as the end for Virat and Rohit. Again, it's been clubbed. They're looking at. Yeah, they are. I'll be very honest,
And
not
you?
mincing the words. See, again, even
I'm more concerned about your opinion.
I'm telling you. Was it the first Test match or second Test match? Then also I said that the backward counting for Rohit has definitely started.
Okay.
And for me personally, like in the T20 World Cup,
But if I'm Rohit, I'll say, okay, look at numbers over the last 2 years, then my numbers are better than Virat.
It's not about that. I'll tell you why. Firstly, I consider the 2-year age gap a lot in Test cricket that Rohit and Virat have. Especially, it's Virat's birthday also today. So yeah, we should.
We must actually wish him a very happy birthday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now that we are talking about age, plus what I was also talking about is that I feel again I'm not going to club the both of them in Test cricket also, and the reason being for that is that Test cricket, like in T20 cricket, I did not club them in T20 cricket as well. There I felt that it was Rohit Sharma who was ahead of the curve, who had a different intent, and his game suited a lot more as far as T20 cricket is concerned. That is why I do not sort of club them there, and I've always wanted to see Rohit to be the first one. If there was one person going to the T20 World Cup, for me it would have been Rohit Sharma as far as the shortest format is concerned. Same thing for the Test cricket also. Again, I'm not going to club both of them together, and for me here it is Virat Kohli.
What is the rationale? Why?
Yeah, okay. Because firstly, I think Virat's game is more suited towards Test cricket, and you can still see glimpses, not glimpses, but he still has the time to make a comeback. But for Rohit Sharma, that's not the case. Because age is not on his side, his game doesn't suit the.
But would you have said the same? Would you have said the same after the England series got over? You lost the first match there. It was his leadership, his decision making, his batsmanship as well.
Yeah.
That was all cumulatively responsible for you to stage a comeback, and you won that series for 1.
But Harshita, the problem, the thing that I have noticed in this series the most is that.
So you're basing your decision on this series?
Totally on this series.
Okay.
No, otherwise also I wasn't seeing Rohit playing Test cricket after this cycle that ends in 2024.
Who people have voted for. This is Rohit Sharma for India Today. Hi, sir, good morning. I see you're Fairfax Republicans. How are you feeling this morning?
Okay. Could you guys let us know in the comments if the audio is fine? We will get back with the discussion again. But if you could just give us a thumbs up. There are 2 sounds is what Saransh tells us. Just stay with us, guys. What we're going to do is we're just going to be...
Switch off mic 1 from...
Yeah, we're just going to be checking our mics. Don't go anywhere. We're not going anywhere either. Just going to do a quick tech check.
Now is it fine?
I think it should be okay now.
Now it's fine? Now, yeah,
Perfect.
that's mic number 1.
Okay.
Yeah, mic number 1 tends to do that. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I think coming back to Shashwat's point here, I think in a way even I also agree with him. I think the backward counting has in a way started for Rohit Sharma, and obviously things are going to get a little more scrutinized as far as the Indian captain is concerned. Something a certain Sunil Gavaskar has also said, because even before the start of the New Zealand Test series, there was a report that did the rounds that Rohit Sharma might miss the opening test or maybe the opening 2 test matches of the Border Gavaskar Trophy. The reasons to which are clearly unknown to us as of now, but shortly after the 3rd test match ended at the Wankhede, Rohit did said it in the press conference that he is unsure about his availability for the Perth test specifically. And after that happened, obviously, we had Sunny Paji, Sunil Gavaskar, making a comment about the fact that if there's no captain in the beginning of an all-important tour of Down Under, it is better to make someone else the captain. And I feel,
quote with us.
yeah, we have the exact quote with us, and Saransh, if we can, cut to it. So this is what Sunil Gavaskar had said on India's possible captaincy for Border Gavaskar Trophy, wherein he clearly mentioned that there's nothing else that comes above the national duty. If we read really in between the lines, the captain has to unite the team, and obviously if there's no Rohit Sharma in the beginning, it is better to make someone else the captain. I really feel, this is a point of debate or a point of discussion, because the views are really going to be different. There's probably going to be a clash also here, because some might say the personal thing or the family thing maybe comes number one. It has to be the top priority. Not really sure why he would not be available for the Perth test. And some might say that there is nothing more important than the national duty. What are your thoughts on it? We can probably start with Harshit.
See, the way I look at it is, again, looking at Rohit's situation, we don't quite know what the reason exactly is. Neither has any former South African told us anything about his situation yet. Just had to say it.
But this was a good one. Good one.
But
They're not that close with South Africa.
whatever, you got my point. So what I was saying was, because there is past precedent from last year and the few years before that as well, I think this team does believe in there being something called personal space, family time. That's given a lot of importance. This is again a larger debate in sport, whether athletes, top level athletes, have the right to ask for these personal leaves. As corporate employees, you and I can avail those leaves given our professional and personal reasons, whatever. But is cricket to be looked at the same way? Yes, it's a professional sport that they're all involved in, but does it have to follow the same rules that you and I as corporate employees have to follow? Or because there are other privileges that an athlete enjoys, maybe this really is about keeping the nation first, is another debate altogether. How I look at it is, because this team has already done that in the past, it doesn't come across as a shock to me if Rohit Sharma, citing personal reasons, is not available. And I'm not going to be making a huge hue and cry about it, because now this is cast in stone.
Yeah.
And barring a Virat, if I see anyone else being extended the courtesy for personal reasons to miss an important event, Virat missed the entire series. Now we're only talking about one test being missed. In fact, the last tour of Australia as well, Virat played Adelaide and didn't play the subsequent matches. Here you're not looking at such a scenario. You're only looking at reports suggesting at max 2, maybe it's just 1.
Yeah.
Maybe it is only just the Perth test match, the first one.
Yeah, maybe it's not
Maybe
even
it's
one
not
also.
even one. So
Yeah.
we don't quite know. But will I be taken by surprise if Rohit's not available citing personal reasons? I won't be. Like I said, because this past precedent. However, I want to address what Sunny Ji has said, and I want to address the second bit, in which he says that if there's no captain in the beginning of the series, is it better to make someone, it is in fact better to make someone else the captain, is what he opines. Do I agree with that for the entire series, that you make someone else the captain? Again, the answer is going to be no.
Yeah.
Why? Because this team is used to operating a certain way, and the way that I've seen this team operate, again, let's go back to the 2021 tour. What did we see then? In the 2021 tour, we saw Virat Kohli captain, and then Ajinkya Rahane captain the remaining 3 matches.
True.
That's what we saw. This time, there is going to be exactly the same thing. Just the order is going to reverse. There is a stand-in captain that comes. So Ajinkya Rahane was your stand-in captain the previous time. Virat Kohli was your actual captain.
True.
Here, there's going to be a stand-in captain the one match, and then perhaps Rohit Sharma for all 4 matches. So, and do I agree with having a new captain for all 4 and Rohit play under a new captain? I'm not saying Rohit will have a problem playing with a new captain. That's not my point. My point is, because in this whole WTC cycle, and this is the second, or I would say the most high profile series besides the England series that you hosted. But as far as tours are concerned, in this WTC cycle, this is your highest profile series. In the most highest profile series, do I not want Rohit Sharma to be the captain? Regardless of what the WTC scenario may be, I think I do want Rohit Sharma. Whether it's a swan song series or not is something we will have to wait and see. But because this team has played the way Rohit Sharma has wanted this team to play, because you also have a new coach with whom you're trying to have some sort of a formation in place in red ball cricket, all of this goes awry. Whatever that we've seen in this home leg, whatever in these 10 test matches goes completely down the dumps, down the drain, if you have a new captain then for all these matches, despite Rohit being available for 4 matches. So I don't think, practically speaking, conventionally speaking, and tactically speaking, it'll be the wisest thing to have not a stand-in captain, rather a stand-in captain the whole series with Rohit being around for 4 out of 5 test matches. I don't quite get that logic.
Okay, Balla.
I feel that there is no sense in sort of changing the captain if he is not available. Just
For the first bit, if
Yeah.
I can take you to the first bit, because there is a lot of clamor about whether Rohit Sharma should, because of what has happened, because of the debacle that Indian team has faced at home, the ignominy that India has faced in a high-profile series where you now need to win for zip. Should Rohit Sharma firstly be taking? If you could answer that first, and then
should he be taking or not?
should he be firstly taking or not, in your opinion?
See, I feel that having the luxury to take a break in between.
You know how things work.
Yeah,
Taking an off, you were subjected to it 2 hours back.
That's what I'm getting to. What I'm trying to say is that taking a leave in that sense is already very subjective, and it only comes with the luxury that you have. Only a Virat Kohli could miss a series during the last Border Gavaskar series, but there was another person in Mohammad Siraj who lost his father during the series and did not come back. So firstly, I feel that in itself comes with a luxury. Even though Siraj would, if he wanted to, he could have come back.
Yes.
But he knew that his place would be under threat if he decides to come back, no matter what the situation is. And secondly, I feel that comparing a sports person's life in that sense to a corporate job I don't feel that is the right thing to do, because still in a corporate setup, if I am the most junior most and I need a very urgent off, then I know somehow I would still get it. But same place as far as Mohammad Siraj was concerned, he knew that his place is under threat. He did not. He decided to stay back no matter whatever the circumstances were. But for a Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, it is still possible to do that, because they
No, but it may not always have to do with his place. I'm just saying, because let's go back in, was an MS Dhoni, was his place,
I'm getting to that.
was his place in question when he
Yeah.
decided to be on a tour and to be playing for India
Yeah.
during the birth of his
I was
child.
exactly.
I can think of other examples as well. Gautam Gambhir, I think, was given a paternity leave. Saurav Ganguly, I think, was also playing for India the time that he had the birth of a child. So, but the most recent, the one that I think our family members can also relate to, we've seen 2 as far as former captains are concerned. Virat asking both times for both his children, and then there was MS Dhoni as well, who was playing when that news was confirmed to him.
Yes.
Yes,
I was
was
getting to
confirmed
that
by
only.
him.
So firstly, I feel that only in itself is a luxury. Secondly, I feel if again, MS Dhoni decided to stay, that's an example that we give till date. It happened in 2015, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, correct.
And we still talk about it. Virat Kohli, he got some backlash, but as soon as they lost, we won the series there, it sort of started to fade away. Only it's now that we are talking about it when Rohit has come up in such a situation. So I feel it all boils down to the importance of the series versus for what Rohit Sharma is going to take a paternity leave, if it is a paternity leave, that is paternity leave for. If he decides to play that series, he plays the first test match, it's going to be a bonus in that sense. Are you trying to understand? It's going to be a bonus. We are going to remember it for many years to come that a certain Rohit Sharma decided to leave the birth of his child, if that is the case, and decided to play the series. If he doesn't, I think it's not wrong again, because it's a very personal choice in that sense. If he's been granted that leave, seeing the importance of the series by the BCCI, so in itself I think that already shows that it's okay. The BCCI is sort of...
Can the BCCI, by the way, and I want to know your
say
thoughts.
No for it.
Yeah, can the BCCI say no to Rohit Sharma, regardless of, I'm again not speculating what personal reason.
They did for the ODI series. That's exactly
But
what
that's
Gautam did.
yeah, that's where I think both Rohit and Kohli had a different perspective. The reports then, what they did the rounds at that time were that both would want to be available straight away from the Bangladesh series. But that's when, had there been the previous regime of Rahul Dravid, Vikram Rathod, and the likes of others, I think things could have been completely different.
ODI series they did not go.
Yeah, ODI series. They probably wanted to begin the season with the Bangladesh Test series itself. But now that that wasn't really to be the case, because your new head coach wants all the players to be available for all the series, all the formats that they usually are a part of. That had to happen. Now this is going to be a completely different ball game altogether. If Rohit Sharma decides to take a paternity leave, if that's really the case or not, we don't really know what the reason is about.
If he's been given that liberty by the BCCI
No, I'm saying if, because in Virat's case as well, all we knew back then was personal reasons.
Yeah.
We didn't know the personal reasons, we just knew personal reasons. It's exactly the same right now. Can Rohit Sharma, because of the humiliation that the Indian team has faced, can BCCI say, no Rohit, we need you to be on the front?
Yeah, they can, even without the humiliation. They called both of them back, even for a much less important series. So I don't think that's the case where the BCCI or Gautam Gambhir in that.
I have a different take on it.
You're talking. No,
I have a different take on it.
The reason that we are thinking about, if that's the reason, I don't think BCCI.
I don't know what you're thinking.
I think.
But I'm just saying, because the both have been treated the same way, they've both been given the same privileges, I think the BCCI won't be able to say no to him.
Okay.
Firstly, I don't think that they would want to in the first place. They themselves, I don't think, would want to. That's why I'm saying, if Rohit decides to come and play, it's going to be a bonus. Like I said, it's going to be a very big thing that an Indian player, a captain of the side, after 3-0 you've been whitewashed, he's specially come and played, missing the birth of his child, and then straight away going and meeting.
Shashwat has some info. He's every time he's either saying paternity leave or he's saying missing the birth.
I think BCCI
your take, Virat.
My point is that BCCI cannot say no to him. I agree with you here. But the point is, there would be very clear discussions about the fact that even if you are available from 21st of November's evening, we will arrange a chartered flight for you. Just be there for the first test. The point is that even if there is a last minute thing.
Can the BCCI also have the first session delayed by an hour?
No, that cannot happen. But I think if I have to let's say come back to Gavaskar's comments, just going to say two things here. The second point is going to be my perspective.
Let's go bit by bit. First bit, as we were saying,
first bit is
players are they to be, are they right?
I'll come to that, but I want to start with one thing, that if Rohit does miss let's say he misses the opening 2 test matches of the series, then it's obviously going to be unfair on the stand-in captain and the management, who would have actually adapted without Rohit for the opening 2 test matches in Perth and Adelaide. No, I'm saying it would have been unfair on the stand-in captain and the management, who would have adapted without him for the first 2 matches. So that's where I feel that if he does miss the opening 2 matches, from a perspective, it does make sense that you would want to have only one captain for the 5-match series, assuming Rohit misses the first test. Now my second point is, and it's obviously going to be a question to Mr. Sunil Gavaskar here. Had India won the series 3-0 versus New Zealand, would he have said the same thing, knowing that Rohit Sharma would miss the opening test I don't think so he would have said
He
it.
said it very clearly, this only, that if it wasn't 3-0, then it's absolutely fine. Then Rohit can come and join. But because
And this is
3-0,
this is where I don't agree with what he has said. The point here is that just because you win, and when you head to Border Gavaskar Trophy, you know that your captain is going to miss the opening test, then the comments are basically going to be, okay, you know, whenever he comes to Australia, let's just give him the captaincy back because he's the leader, he's the captain, he's the leader of the team. He has to be there. We have to give him the captaincy back. We have to award him the captaincy back. Now, just because he has lost, how does it make sense, you know, for the fact that if he is not available for the first test, then you give the captaincy to someone else? I think win or losses do matter. Cricket is important, any sport is important for that matter, but is there anything that is more important than family time? Assuming that's what Rohit Sharma needs a break for. I don't think so. I think this is very contrasting statements.
That's a very personal thing, according to me, that if it's national duty first or if it's the border Gavaskar Trophy first. But personally, I also don't feel that if he's not available for the first test, or even for that matter for the second test, then you place somebody else as the captain for the whole series. That wouldn't make any sense because again you're talking about 2 test matches.
Glad I didn't get your point clearly. I understood Shashwat and I think Shashwat and I have the same opinion. You're saying should he be handed the captaincy back or not?
I'm saying it should be handed the captaincy back. He definitely should. My point here is that just because India have lost a series
so
at
that
home,
has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it should never really be the thing, because had India won under his captaincy, things would have been completely different. Then you would have been like, okay, he's the leader of the team, we must give him the captaincy back when he returns for the Adelaide
I'm
test.
saying, Acha, what if, because it's very well documented and it's storied now, I would say, that even though Ajinkya Rahane took over the captaincy, Virat, when he was on his way back after 36 all out, was on the flight always talking to the team, and he was...
That's what they say.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's well storied now.
Yeah.
So if Rohit also maybe from here he's also on the call, then what?
That he got all the credit. Ravi Shastri first thing he said that this is.
So what if Rohit also says, okay, even if I'm staying back for personal reasons, but I'm going to be on a call with you guys 24/7.
I think both Rohit and Virat are different personalities. As far as I can understand, in case of Rohit Sharma, I think he would give his full backing to whosoever is going to be the stand-in captain for that series. So even if, yeah, he did that. I'm not going to deny it. But then we all, can actually interpret what can probably go behind the scenes as to what comments are being made on a particular player regarding who did all the job in that series win, who should be the protagonist, or who should get the credit or who should not get the credit. We can obviously get into all that. Yeah, I think it's a collective effort, but then just by Gavaskar's comments, I think I would feel personally that even if he is missing the first test for some reason, that is okay with BCCI. I think Rohit Sharma should be India's captain until the end of the Border Gavaskar Trophy.
And who will you make the other captain? Anyway, even if you take the captaincy from Rohit Sharma, who would be the one leading the team for all the 5 test matches?
Did Saniji make any
somebody
thoughts?
else did.
Who?
Mohammad Kaif did.
What did he say?
He said that we have the code.
Do we have a score?
Yeah,
let's just cut to it. Okay, so he said that from the current team, only Rishabh Pant is in contention to be the test captain. Okay, he's worthy of it, whichever number of games he plays. He's ready to be play a match-winning knock. He's scored in all types of conditions. He's a complete batter.
No, but
Rishabh Pant.
This he's saying in general, right? Not if Rohit's not there.
Yeah.
This he's saying in general.
But Sunny ji said Jasprit Bumrah.
Now, obviously, Jasprit Bumrah is your designated vice captain.
Because
Yeah.
of that, no, nothing specific in Bumrah's captaincy that he talked about. It was just because he's your vice captain on paper. But again, Jasprit Bumrah is just captain once. That also game you did not end up winning. And this is going to be
Edgbaston.
2022.
2022.
That one-off test
One-off
against
test.
England.
And then you were planning to give him captaincy for the 5 test matches. That's what Sunny ji said. But is he a certainty for all 5 test matches? You also have to see his workload management in that sense.
Okay, I pretty much agree with it. But then, if not Rohit for the first test or the first 2 test matches.
Okay, what if Rohit's not there first test match? We can talk about who should be there. And also because a lot of people are saying that, okay, put an end to Rohit, this, that, whatever. Who do we now see as the next captain? Mohammad Kaif says he sees Rishabh Pant becoming the next captain.
As the next captain or just the captain for these first 2 test matches?
Both you can answer. Both. One, of course, as to who should captain or who should be the stand-in captain, number one. And does your stand-in captain also then become your captain in the longer run?
Okay, so I'll go first in this case. I have a feeling that if I have to answer the next bit of this also, that who should be the captain now for the opening test or the opening 2 test matches in Australia, and then should also go on to lead India for a long time. If I have to see things from that perspective, I'm going to go with Rishabh Pant. As simple as that. Because with Jasprit Bumrah, one thing is for sure, that you are not going to see him play all matches across formats in the near future or so. That's where, just from that perspective, you know that if there's any player who has been a consistent performer for India, who has been there, more importantly, has a regular chit chat with the bowlers also, knowing that he has a very important role behind the stumps, for me it's a no-brainer. It has to be Rishabh Pant.
No chance for me. I don't see Rishabh Pant being the captain of the test team.
First stand-in captain. Who do you see as the
captain? Just if it's just for the first 2 test matches or 1 test match in that sense, it's going to be Jasprit Bumrah for me, because he's the designated vice captain of the side, and there is nobody else who could actually take on from Rohit Sharma and be the captain, be the stand-in captain. Jasprit Bumrah, just one reason, that he's the senior player, and it's about just a couple of games. It's not a long-term sort of a thing. As far as future captaincy is concerned, Rishabh Pant, I just feel it's too soon to judge him as a captain, because all I have seen of his, everyone has seen of his captaincy is in the IPL. And when he comes in the IPL as a captain, it's just a very different Rishabh Pant that plays there. It's a very different Rishabh Pant in the sense that he's a little more cautious as far as batting is concerned, and he still plays those big shots. He does take that risk, but I just feel he just holds him back just a little bit, and that's not something that I would want Rishabh Pant to do. Already, see again, we also need to realize how quickly do the things change. Right now he's getting all those runs. He's everyone calls him one of the greatest test players, that he definitely is. But as soon as a couple of failures happen, and then we also have to see the kind of way he bats in, everyone will start pointing fingers on Rishabh Pant. So at this point, I wouldn't want to give Rishabh Pant an extra burden of captaincy, and I just want him to play the way he is, because that's how he's getting the results. Future captain, I would still keep a Shubman Gill ahead of a Rishabh Pant, just because of the reason that I know he has more time to get there, be prepared to take over captaincy, because the team is looking at him as an all-format captain. But Shreyas Iyer, I always looked at Shreyas Iyer as a long-term captain, because he's not even in the 11 right now. That's the only problem.
Okay.
I think I'm left to cast my opinion. Who do I see as the stand-in captain? To answer that first, I think Jasprit Bumrah.
Okay.
And I don't think there should be a lot of debate around it, because he's your vice captain. If your vice captain doesn't become the stand-in captain, then why is he your vice captain? So that's the point. That's the limited point I have as far as who should that stand-in captain be. But do I see Jasprit Bumrah taking over the reins if this is to be Rohit Sharma's last series? Then I'm a bit iffy on that, because of the reason that Gulati cited as well, that I don't see Jasprit Bumrah taking part in all the matches. This was a bit of a surprise that he played 2 out of the 3 matches against New Zealand as well, and maybe things could have been different had you won the first test match in Bengaluru. You were forced to play him the second time as well, and we were talking of these 10 test matches. I remember in the studio, how many do we see Jasprit Bumrah playing? We were all like 6-7, 6-7. He's done more than that. He played both the matches against Bangladesh. Then he played 2 out of the 3 matches against New Zealand as well. So we're all, so he's done his bit, let's say, in terms of performing. But the fact that, after a point he didn't play in the England series, the fact that he didn't play the last match in Mumbai as well, that tells you. And will he play all 5 matches in Australia? The answer to that also is no.
Okay.
So for a player who's not available, and he may be a very astute mind, and he is, we all know that he's a very sharp head that ways, but it's just unfortunate because he can't be available at all times, and I don't want there to be a situation where I'm flip-flopping in terms of captaincy because of player unavailability.
Okay.
So for that reason I have to look in another direction. Now there are 2 names that come to my mind. One is that of a Shubman Gill. The second, because Shubman Gill has also been your vice captain in the past. The other name I have in mind is the one that Mohammad Kaif and my esteemed colleague Shashwat just suggested, Rishabh Pant.
No, I was against.
You were again. Oh, my bad.
I suggested
So
Pant, yeah.
you suggested, you suggested Shreyas.
At the end, just a passing.
But if I have to pick one between Rishabh and Gill, am I comfortable with either at the moment? Maybe not, because there's question marks over both. But if I have to make that choice, I think I am picking Rishabh Pant over Shubman Gill.
Okay.
My reason, because you remove, let's say, the New Zealand series. The England series was a bit of a revival for Shubman Gill. He didn't get you runs prior to that. So I see Shubman Gill still, as far as his place at number 3 is concerned, he's still looking at cementing his position. Pretty sure the dagger will be out for Shubman Gill as well, the time that he has 2-3 bad test matches. Because he's not really set the stage on fire. Look at what happened in New Zealand as well. Yes, he got a good 70 here and there, and then there was another vital knock. But otherwise, is he the best batter out there? I think Yashasvi is doing a better job than he is at the moment. So he is still cementing his place at number 3, Shubman Gill, the way I look at it. But Rishabh Pant has turned out to be our serial match winner. Is his place in question in Test match cricket? I don't think so. Yes, there is a Dhruv Jurel who's been very impressive. Yes, there are some other players you want to try out. But I think as far as position security is concerned, Rishabh Pant is a very secure player in terms of his place in the team right now.
But if it's just one test match and we are not too sure.
No, that too I've said. Jasprit Bumrah stand-in captain, but longer run if you're looking.
Give it to this series, specifically the whole series, if you have to hand it over to somebody.
No, but
what Sunil Gavaskar said, just asking, then who would it be? No,
I said I don't agree with this philosophy at all.
Same.
There is a stand-in captain for a reason. The definition of a stand-in captain is that you fill in when the captain's not available.
The problem with that stand-in captain is he is not a surety for all 5 matches.
That's fine.
That's why I'm asking if somebody for the whole series, like what Sunil Gavaskar.
You're saying hypothetically? No, he didn't say hypothetically though.
He said it for the whole series.
Whole series. He said as a tactical move.
Yeah. He made Jasprit Bumrah for the whole series. If you have to make somebody for the whole series, who would it be?
Okay, it's a hypothetical situation. This is a toughie. But I think I'll be tempted to go with Jasprit Bumrah to begin with.
But for him,
I'll tell you what, because I'll tell you why. Because Bumrah can play 3 out of 5 matches, and I can have a stand-in for 2.
Okay.
Bumrah is himself a stand-in.
Yeah, but I know my vice captain. Can I ignore Jasprit Bumrah despite being my vice captain, not give him the leadership role? In a hypothetical scenario that Shashwat suggests,
No, it's not possible.
Not possible.
I get that.
Because then what is the vice captain for?
But I have a left field option here.
Yeah.
See, no. He isn't even sure of a place in the starting 11. But I think even if we talk about both Rishabh Pant, Jasprit Bumrah, Shubman Gill for that matter, if you have to hand them captaincy for just one game, and obviously, we have picked our options, our respective options. One thing is for sure, that whoever steps in for Rohit Sharma, assuming Rohit is not available for Perth, there's going to be pressure on that person because he wouldn't have led India in those many matches earlier.
Yeah.
And if I have to go with the left field selection for the 5-match series.
Before you complete, let me just say this. Virat Kohli is not getting convinced.
And I am going to do everything to convince him as to make sure that he's there, and I'll tell you why. See, if there's one thing that we...
What will you have to do? I'm just wondering, what is it that you'll have to do to convince a Virat?
They can make anything possible. Do it.
I didn't say it, Shashwat did.
We are making a reel of it. Okay, so point is that it's an important series. You pretty much know that you're all but out of the WTC final race. Pretty much. You're not 100% out of it, but you're pretty much out of it. It does make sense to, hand the captaincy to a young guy or maybe a Jasprit Bumrah who is a seasoned campaigner here. And Pant is still he's 26, 27. So, just to make sure that your main batter, who is your mainstay at number 4, And he has been at his very best when he was the captain of India for a good 5 to 6 year or 7 year period or so. Why not give him that captaincy back? It might just fuel him.
But if I'm Virat Kohli, I'll say that listen, I made my stance very clear on captaincy, and right now I'm struggling for runs as well. I don't want that added responsibility. What is it that the BCCI or Gautam Gambhir can tell him to convince him to change his opinion?
For the series, for the team, he can definitely. There's some issue
Let's
with
just leave this one out.
all my
Yeah, it's
mics
not
today.
Yeah, let's just leave it.
This is the third time we've
That's
changed
okay.
my mic.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, what I was saying that if it's just one series and it's just the one series that we are talking about, then why will Virat Kohli not be okay with doing it? It's for the country, for the team. Like we saw earlier on in the series, also he was the one who pushed himself on number 3, and because they
Exactly.
wanted KL Rahul to be at number 6 only, so maybe he might just agree to do it, but will he? It seems highly unlikely, very unlikely.
See, I really feel that.
Because then RCB will say that you should captain for us also. It's one
But
tournament.
that's going to be that's probably going to be happening more than likely, or not. Okay, so I personally feel that it could be the case because it's going to be an important series, and at the very same time, just to make sure that the others aren't really under too much pressure, other captaincy candidates aren't really too much under pressure, it would be slightly unfair also to have a certain Rishabh Pant or maybe Shubman Gill or Bumrah captain all 5 matches. This is where the experience would lie, and in case of Virat, we know that he's at his very best and very aggressive against Australia, so why not? I feel that could be a good option.
Okay. But I believe, just to get the conversation going, there are other subjects as well that we intended to touch upon. Gulati, what were some of those?
I think that's pretty much about it. We have gone through the CAF's comment that he had collected for us. Apart from that, there is Sunny G's comment. So we can take a few family members' comments now.
Anything else, Ashwath, you got to add? You good? Chalo, let's, as always is the drill, dive into the questions. Mr. Shekhar GTN says, morning gents, November hasn't been gentle on the Indian cricket team. Be it out in the first round 2021, 170-0 semi-final in 2022. He's talking about the England match, 2023 World Cup final, and now a home series whitewashed. So yes, no upset here. Just followed the trend, huh? Every year, setback after setback, huh, Mr. Shekhar?
Okay, Rakesh Bhushan has a comment that what is the connection between maternity leave and Australia tour? Virat left national duty last time, Rohit probably doing this time, and MS stayed put in Australia and didn't go back. Do players really
Chicken out
from a tough tour? I don't really think that's the case, to be very honest, because I think it is just what it is.
No, but interestingly, there's something really interesting that I remember to begin with also Rohit Sharma for quite a long time, as soon as he was handed the captaincy for the test team, for quite a long time he wasn't available for overseas test matches in that sense.
He was dropped basically.
No, he got in after being the captain. He got injured a couple of times whenever the overseas series was.
The first overseas assignment that he had as a captain was that one-off test against England that he missed out due to COVID.
Yeah.
And when India toured South Africa, that's when Virat was the test captain. So Rohit had missed out due to a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take another comment. Sachin Kashyap, he says that I don't think so. Stand-in captain should be given captaincy, maximum 2 test matches. If Rohit is available, then give him captaincy. That's it. That's what I think. Even both Harshit and I even agree with this. Priyanshu has a comment that Rohit will captain in test matches till BGT only. After that, I will go to Pant for long term. Bumrah can't play all matches. Rohit Virat career as players will depend upon BGT. Need 400 plus runs in the series to continue.
Well, this is interesting. I think we will spend some time talking about it. Do we see a future for Rohit Sharma after the BGT?
I don't think
and
so.
if India lose the BGT, that's assuming.
I don't think so. I think that will be curtains on his test career.
Just Rohit Sharma. Do we see a future for Rohit if India lose the BGT? So that we'll start with you. Yeah. We'll start with you.
Yeah, I don't think that there's going to be a possible future for Rohit after the BGT, irrespective of the result of the series.
Even if India win.
Yeah, see, even if India win, like say 2-1 or a 3-1 at max, then you can probably look at Rohit as a captain until the end of the England tour that is going to take place shortly after the WTC final. But if India lose, then I have a feeling that you would have a different captain for the England series. That's going to be your first assignment for the new WTC cycle. And
No, but then why even get into the new WTC cycle when you're looking at replacing Rohit Sharma by October, November next year? By this time, the series, 5-match series will be over. Why even have Rohit Sharma for those 5 matches? See, a fresh cycle is always a new cycle, right? It's the start of it's the start of something new. What is it that I need Rohit Sharma for 2 months, 3 months, or 2.5 months, whatever, for those 5 test matches that I have to bring him into the new cycle? Doesn't this become the right time for me to then just bring in young blood or bring about that change?
see, the point is that assuming you win the BGT in Australia, and even if let's say you win by a margin of 2-1 or a 3-1.
Yeah, it's been 2-1 the previous 2 times.
Yeah,
Assuming it's 2-1 again.
Yeah, assuming it's 2-1 again, that would still not be enough for you to qualify for the WTC final. But then at least it would set the perspective that, okay, you lost at home, but then you made up for it by beating Australia 3 times in a row. That in a way also, leaves an impression on the minds of selectors that, okay, we can probably continue him for some more time.
Okay.
And knowing that your first assignment of the new WTC cycle is an overseas one, why not have his experience?
India win 2-1, but Rohit doesn't score runs then.
India win 2-1 and Rohit doesn't score runs. You're looking at a new captain.
Rohit scores runs,
And India wins.
but India lose.
Still looking for a new captain. The only way the selectors won't look for a new captain, at least for the 6-7
If
months,
Rohit scores runs and
and
India,
win. That's it.
For me, it was totally different. Even if you were winning the WTC, even if you went to the final and won WTC, according to me, you would have seen a change in captain for the test team. I said this before also. Then we saw these 3 poor results too after what I said. But yeah, basically, even if India wins, Rohit scores, runs, whatever happens, I see Rohit Sharma calling it quits from test cricket and just focusing.
you see him calling it quits.
Yeah, anyways, are you going to see it from the BCCI? That's not going to happen in any which scenario. That I don't see that happening. So yeah, that's why I feel that, because again, age being one factor, you entering a new WTC cycle another factor. So yeah.
Okay.
I have a feeling that firstly how the BGT results pans out, that is one thing that's going to determine Rohit Sharma's future. But let's say, like I asked you, what if he scores run and India lose? In that case, I think it becomes very iffy then for the BCCI to make a call, because he's already unavailable in T20 cricket. But if he gets runs on a difficult tour, then how do you set him aside? The BCCI, because again, barring this New Zealand series where he averaged 15, he's been decent over the last couple of years, and he's been one of the better batters, if not the best. He's still your top 3-4 in terms of runs maybe. And in the previous WTC cycle, he was pretty good. So I think if he gets runs but India lose, I think then it's a 50-50 thing. I don't think it becomes a very easy situation then for the BCCI. However, if India, and I think chances of this happening are far greater, that India don't make it to the WTC final, when that post-mortem will happen, and some of it has already happened. The full post-mortem will happen after the BGT ends. I think Rohit Sharma, you will want to look past Rohit Sharma if India, regardless of what happens in the BGT. Regardless. So if India are winning it 3-1 as well, whatever, hypothetically, even then I think because you failed to make it to the final, I think you will be looking at a new captain. New cycle, new captain. I think that will be the philosophy.
Okay, that's fine. I think let's just take this comment from
Rakesh Bhushan says, commentators don't speak openly because they have contract with the BCCI. Journalists keep quiet because of fear of not getting inside scoop. Who will be the voice then? There is a platform called Sports Today. Right, gents?
For all the latest updates and analysis.
Absolutely. Tell us if there's something that we are not speaking, we'll start saying that as well. And if we are not doing enough as journalists, YouTubers, whatever you look at us as.
GGK has a comment that even if India lose BGT by a margin of 2-3, they qualify for the WTC final as Australia will lose 2 test matches in Sri Lanka that are going to take place in Galle and lose more points. Well, obviously that's subject to like one of the scenarios that we have, but then we have one more contender who will who will more than likely qualify for their maiden WTC final. It's going to be South Africa, because out of their remaining 4 matches, 2 each against Sri Lanka and Pakistan, they win 3 and they are in. As simple as that. They can afford 1 loss. Sachin Kashyap has a comment that after BGT, we should invest in specialists in test format. What do you think?
Yeah, totally.
So should there be players for different formats?
Of course.
And
That's how you
captains
should
also
have-
for different formats?
Captains can, for personally, not different formats, just for the longest and the shortest. White ball and red ball, basically.
I think if India, given the talent pool that we have, it's high time. With this series, and I made this point day before as well, I think it's an eye-opener that our obsession for all format players needs to stop. And it's high time that you start respecting every format. Every format needs different skills. And at times, professional athletes may not be able to bring one into the other, or keep switching on and off from one format to the other, because such are the rigors of the game. Either you expect high quality, spin playing batters, then you'll have to make conditions that are suitable to have or foster such kind of batters as well. Because you can't expect the same batter in a week's time to then be, wielding his bat somewhere in South Africa and giving you a 15 ball 45. And at the same time, here in Delhi, you expect that batter to be playing a traditional cricket. I think you're asking for too much at times. So it's high time, and my suggestion, if the BCCI can incorporate this, maybe the one way you put a message across is, and you make a clear statement is through remuneration. The
Exactly.
BCCI has been very persistent about and has had a vision about taking the sport to the next level. I remember a couple of years back, they made equal pay for both men and women. It's a welcome step. But if you want to preserve Test cricket, if you want the highest level of Test cricket to be played as well, ensure when you're giving out those contracts, let there be other, while there are A plus A, B, C grades right now, if you want a separate grade for just Test cricket, I'm completely fine with that. But enough, it compensates you enough that you're playing domestic cricket in India, overseas as well. You just dedicate yourself enough that you don't have to look at what some of the others are making in the IPL. It should be enough, like you do with coaches. You are willing to give 3 crores, etc. You made those changes while hiring your coach. You made that adjustment while hiring Ravi Shastri. You again made that adjustment while hiring GG and Ajit Agarkar as well. So you've time and again changed the amount, and you tried to compensate them for what they would have lost out on from commentating duties, etc. You build that kind of an environment that promotes Test cricket. That money isn't why people and youngsters especially are then lured to T20 cricket. You need to have that kind of an atmosphere in the country then.
Okay, even I agree with this, that it's time that India start to have different teams for different formats. But if that happens, I think there's going to be one more step that will probably be taken, that you'll need to have then different coaches for different formats. I think one for red ball and one for white ball. Because any which ways you're going to have 2 different teams, and with one coach possibly managing 3 different teams, it's not going to be possible.
It is difficult already. Look at it this
It's
way.
impossible actually,
It's
because there's an
impossible.
overlap also
Exactly.
of the
You
matches.
aren't we seeing it for the last 3 years? It all started, I remember, after Adelaide when you lost. There was a New Zealand tour that happened in which it was, I think, VVS Lakshman who'd gone for that tour. Then VVS Lakshman has been the one stepping in. You went to Ireland as well. Then also it was VVS Lakshman. Right now, when you travel again, it'll be VVS Lakshman in South Africa. So, and Gautam Gambhir, I know he was there in Sri Lanka, but he wasn't there for one of the series in the past as well. Zimbabwe. So yeah, you can't expect your coaches to be omnipresent as well. So you are anyway, and there are reports, and we know it for a fact that IPL is only going to be, stretching to another month or whatever. It's going to be more than a 2 month gala of sorts going forward. So you are looking at bifurcations anyway. Might as well accept it, and because this what 3-0 tells you is that all the talk about intent and all whatever, it's misplaced, because you need intent perhaps in ODI and T20I. Here you needed attritional, determined, and you needed just to adapt yourself and respect the conditions. Here there was no need of intent. You needed, the only time you needed to play aggressively was when you wanted a result in Kanpur.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you needed to spend time in the middle.
Okay. I think it's more, the classic case of overlap being the 2021 tour of England, 2022 in fact, wherein 2021 in fact, when you were the test series against England was ongoing, and then you had a full white ball tour of Sri Lanka.
Over there, so Nitish Rana, Simarjeet, who all played for India in that series.
Okay, maybe let's just take a last few comments. That Gaming Live has a question that does Rishabh Pant have the chance to be the greatest Indian Test match winner of all time? What do you think, Balla?
Greatest wicket keeper, so he's already become. Match winner, still long way to go.
Okay, I think he still is, according to me, he is the greatest Indian Test match winner of all time. If not like number one, definitely one of the best. Definitely among the top three, because
Australia, what he did in Australia was
absolutely. In case of Virat, obviously we have seen that there have been those beautiful knocks that have come when the team has they have required, but then India haven't really been on the winning end. In case of Rishabh Pant, in a very short Test career or so, I think India have won a few matches.
Is not one of the greatest match winners.
I think he is, but definitely in a different format.
Not in Test.
I don't think so.
This is real.
I have a feeling that's not really the case, because see, this is where sometimes you have to look at the numbers also, and that's my point, because he is definitely one of your best Test batters in the last 10 years or so. In fact, the best Test batter.
Just don't open the comments now.
No, that's okay, but still, I think different format, and Virat is a different beast.
No, but right now it makes for a very interesting conversation, because again, a Joe Root will say, listen, mate, last 3 years you got to see how far I have gone, because I'm at 33 centuries now.
And how did he go from 17 to 33? He worked on his game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's the
so
point.
Maybe right now as well, it's a proper debate whether Virat from his generation as well is the best as well, because he's been stuck on 27.
Yeah.
While others have moved past 30. I'm just saying, I'm not making any comments right now, but it makes for a healthy debate.
Yeah, it does.
But all format, no doubt, I can say it. Absolutely, last 2 decades, if there is one all format player against whom nobody can compete, that is Virat Kohli.
True. Because like if I have to look at the match-winning performances in Test cricket in the last 3-4 years or so for India, maybe in Indian overseas conditions, a certain KL Rahul has Washington Sundar, Shardul Thakur has more match-winning performances.
Yeah, but again, we can't forget the 2015 tour that he had in Australia, Virat Kohli.
Absolutely brilliant. 693 runs.
Yeah, you can't forget that. Had a decent comeback of sorts in 2018 in England as well.
But last 4 years have been very tough.
Yeah, last 4 years have changed the game altogether. Last comment, let's just see what is Vaibhav Tarangi. Vaibhav Tarangi says that although sample size is small, but Sarfaraz choked under pressure situations against New Zealand. Aussies will come hard at him if he plays in the BGT. Do any of us feel that he will not be playing the BGT?
I have a feeling that KL Rahul is going to start ahead of him because of the experience that he has of the conditions.
And now KL Rahul is going to be playing in Australia before him because he's part of the India A squad.
Yeah, but see, there is a good chance that KL Rahul might just open the innings in the Perth Test, assuming there is no Rohit Sharma. That's where you might have both Rohit and
Abhimanyu Eason, you do not want him to play. Basically, that's the whole case. Now he can open KL Rahul. Couple of Test matches before this, he wasn't able to. So that's why I say that different yardsticks, different things change according to him. That's why I don't like this whole factor.
Staying on you don't like.
No. All of this that they do around KL Rahul. Now if he opens, na Gulati sir.
You see what will happen.
Oh man.
I'm telling you. If now he opens.
Okay. I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Anything else do you have to say or hold your silence forever? Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Dugout. Do subscribe, like to our videos.
Today's producer has just written a joke on the.
Do like, subscribe to our videos. Well, you can look out for any other videos that we have done. There's an update on Mohammad Shami also. The couple of comments that have been made by experts on India's performances. So do subscribe to Sports Today and share our videos. And until then, it's
I'm without a mic, so you guys will
yeah.
have to sign off.
Goodbye, Nandri, Vanakkam, Shabba Khair. Eat your vegetables
And
and
don't trouble your mother.
Shubh Ratri.
Shubh Ratri.
Shubh Ratri. Yeah.